Hi everyone, welcome to another week of the Sun Bookshop Recommends. This week I'm going to be reviewing or recommending on behalf of another staff member who could not be here today, and I'm going to be recommending What Are You Going Through by Sigrid Nunez.
I'm just going to second this recommendation.
I think everyone who's read it is going to, yeah, well, there we go. So I'm going to read the recommendation here. The title of Sigrid Nunez's deceptively simple novel, What Are You Going Through, comes from French philosopher Simone Weil, who believed that asking that very question was what love of one's neighbour truly meant. In a formula typical of Nunez, a loose plot is constructed. A writer agrees to assist a terminally ill friend in ending her life, but this merely functions as a framework for Nunez to examine certain topics of her typically perceptive manner. Mortality, grief, and climate change, among many others. Nunez has a gentle way of cracking things open and guiding the reader to think more deeply with her clean and precise prose. Despite the book's dark premise, the novel is fringed with graceful and generous humour. It is an impressive follow-up to her National Book Award-winning novel, The Friend. This is a resonant, powerful, and unconventional novel which broke my 2-month reading drought. Perfect for lovers of Rachel Cusk. So that is What Are You Going Through by Sigrid Nunez, recommended by Zoe and everybody else who has read it.
We did a lot of top fives for last year.
Yes.
But I'm going to follow it up with my book of the month and might even appear in my top 5 for this year. And yes, it is a picture book. But I'm also here to argue that this is for absolutely any age. It's called Daybreak, and it's by Amy McGuire, and it deals with January 26th, what that day means, the history of it, and it follows a family with the child taking grandma back to country to remember and to think about that day. And what I really love about this book is it manages to include so many things in a really simple way that introduces the weight of this day, but it's never too heavy. It's so simple, but there's so much in there. So it talks about what they learn at school, how history is often taught. It doesn't talk about the 60,000 years of history. It talks about how all the statues in the city are of white explorers. And it does mention how the children were taken away and how they came back and how we celebrate Nan coming back. So it's told in a way that you can read it to really young children. I actually gave it to my 4-year-old niece and we had some really interesting discussions and she just loved it and she went around chanting, always was, always will be. It's really cool. I also think it's a really great one to have in, well, I think every home should have it, but in schools there's a lot to interpret. It has really beautiful illustrations where there's actually a lot going on in the background. So I would say you could start reading it to children as young as 4 or 5, but again, I bought myself a copy for my personal collection and I just really can't recommend it highly enough for it being a beautiful story, for it being really important historically, and a really great way of opening up those discussions. That's Daybreak.
I'm here to talk about HOMELAND, ELEGIES by Akhtar. Akhtar is a Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright who is also the child of immigrants to America from Pakistan. His book is so huge and so fantastic. It is about sex, it's about money, it's about politics, it's about art, it's about religion. It's autofiction. It's kind of like a Karl Ove Knausgaard book. It's told in 8 chapters. Some of them are essays. Some of them have this great driving narrative, and it is all beautifully, just so well written. The writing is so good, and it is told, the main thrust of the story is it's the story of his life and his parents' life, who they came from Pakistan to live in America. They were both doctors. His father was a heart specialist who at some time dealt with Donald Trump and is a mad, keen Donald Trump supporter, even though he's a Muslim and even though he's going to go on a list of like bad Muslim people that Donald Trump has decided he's going to make. Akhtar can't believe that his father would vote for Donald Trump, but his father is a big Trump supporter. And it is about what it's like to be a Muslim in America now and since 9/11. And there is a really incredibly moving part of the book where he goes and buys a cross to wear after 9/11 because he can't cope with the way that people treat him as a Muslim when he was treated normally before. And he was born in America. It's a fantastic book. It's just makes you think about so many things, and the history of Pakistan and the partition of Pakistan by the English and what it's like. It's just great. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. I loved it. Everyone should read it. I'm not very good at describing it, but I think it's an important book. Homeland Elegies by Akhtar. Oh, bye.